There's no way this could be real. Caleb Love would have went undrafted? What? Now, this UNC versus Kansas game was definitely one of the most exciting March Madness games that we've seen in a minute. There were so many back and forths between the two teams, and even UNC had a ton of players that were suffering injuries and little tweaks here and there that really made the game tough, and it really made you question if UNC really had a full healthy squad or not. Now, of course, Manek went down at one point, and he definitely seemed somewhat dazed when he was playing in the game. Caleb Love, for sure, with his ankle, and a ton of other people on the squad just were dealing with small injuries. Even Cott as well, and his ankle injury and what he was dealing with, coming back and still playing in the game. And that dude is a beast on the boards, but there's something that no one is noticing about Caleb Love, man, and this is crazy. Now, of course, whenever you play in big games like this, it's important that you score, but man, Caleb Love was playing rough in that last game. Now, of course, really his attractiveness to NBA prospects, of course, is his ball handling, the way he can get by defenders, get teammates involved, of course, that shot creator ability. But man, he was off on this last game, and there were definitely times where this dude was coming down the court and people were praying that he would not shoot the ball just because he was missing so many in a row. Caleb Love shot 5 for 24 from the field and only 1 of 8 from the 3-point shot, dropping 13 points in the game. And honestly, 13 is not a terrible number, but what people expected him to do versus what he did in that game were definitely not matching. And as well, RJ Davis, who's another tough guard, super nice guard, dropped 15, but he was 0 for 5 from the 3-point line. Now, for sure, Caleb Love is one of these guys that you expect to come dominate in one of these games, and even him being a top ranked player coming out of high school, 6'3", 180, and he was ranked top 20 in the country for his class. He's actually averaging just around 16 points per game overall at UNC, but you won't believe what they said about his draft stock. Now, many sites were even listed as stating Caleb Love is either going second round or even undrafted, and it's crazy to me how that could happen, because we see it time and time again. Just because you're ranked high in high school, you have a lot of clout and a lot of talent, you can score the ball, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to walk your way right into the NBA and just automatically get drafted. But I personally think, and what from a lot of sources have said, that this dude is most likely going to be a late first round pick or an early second round pick, and I think that's fair, definitely with the numbers he was putting up, and especially just what he did in the tournament, averaging around 19 points per game, 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Those are solid numbers and definitely look like some NBA numbers that I think teams would love to take a chance on him. Many people have doubts about Caleb Love and especially his shot selection. Clearly, when they were playing Duke, man, Caleb Love was just knocking down all of his shots, but when they ended up playing Kansas, it seemed like Caleb Love was taking those same questionable shots, but they were just not falling. And I think the team not being 100% in combination with his shots just not really going in. And then, of course, the North Carolina team did seem somewhat gassed just because their bench is really not as deep. They weren't really playing as many players as Kansas does. And when that happens and you're missing shots and you're gassed in the game, it's just going to be tough. And then, of course, you guys know Caleb Love put up that last 3 to try to get that game winner. It didn't drop, and then things went downhill from there, and then they took that L. With Caleb Love only being a sophomore, many people are questioning, is he actually going to come back to UNC or not? Now, playing this well throughout the tournament, besides really the last game, I think he definitely has a good shot and a good foot forward, getting and putting his name into the draft, really testing the waters and see what happens. Because if he stays and things don't go as well the next year, man, it's just you're in a tough position, and that's always a very hard decision to make. But as of right now, NBA scouts and even a training NBA skills coach basically stated how much he's noticed that Caleb Love has improved, and actually said this: I think there were a lot of scouts that gave up on him last year. There were a lot of fans that believed he was overhyped. It shows you how much he wanted and how much he craved getting back to Carolina to show everybody what he could do. And that just shows you, man, this dude clearly continued to work. He was one of the best players in the country, and then being called overhyped once he gets to college, you know that definitely hurt, but he continued continued to pursue and grind, and now look at him. He was basically the face of the NCAA tournament. Even though they took the L, I definitely think he put a strong foot forward and played pretty well overall. If you're a fan of college basketball, did you know Shareef O'Neal is leaving LSU? You won't believe why the entire roster is leaving LSU. So click that video on the screen because this is insane.